I'm about to get a little graphic and TMI. I started off 2026 with a bang. I had a stomach bug along with my menstrual cycle. I'll spare you all the details, but I had everything coming out in every single hole and direction. And I thought it was going to take me out. But oddly enough, with bleeding, throwing up, diarrhea, I felt the calmest and most relaxed I had ever felt. And what being sick made me realize was that I had been living my life in a way that I thought was healthy. But the reason I felt off is because my nervous system was not balanced. Exercising, eating healthy, all of that is great, but sometimes it's not enough. So I got to thinking, how is it that I physically am miserable right now, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I feel great? It really made me examine my day to day life and what I was doing. Here are some ways that I reset my nervous system, and here's how you can do the same. I found that these habits work, and I hope that they help you too. As much as I love coffee, I am so sensitive to caffeine. I think my sensitivity over the years has just increased with age. But the reality is, if I drink too much coffee or tea, it makes me feel anxious. It makes me feel jittery and just all over the place, head on a swivel. And I think a small amount of caffeine makes me feel productive and helps me concentrate, especially if I'm trying to zone in and focus on doing a very meticulous, detailed, time consuming task. However, too much of it just makes me feel bad. If you find yourself feeling anxious, then I suggest lowering your caffeine intake. It doesn't have to mean cutting your matcha or your coffee or your energy drinks cold turkey. It just means limiting them, lowering the amount. Because I just love drinks. I love having something warm to sip on in my hand. I love the experience of going to a coffee shop from a social perspective. I love the routine and ritual of making coffee in the morning. And it can be easy, especially in the corporate world, to just constantly be going and getting a coffee or sipping on coffee all day. So I've made the conscious choices to order half calf when I go out and buy coffee, as well as just drinking more decaf. And the amount of the coffee and tea combination, I'm usually like a morning coffee, afternoon tea type of person. Just lowering it can make a huge difference. Next piece of advice I have for regulating your nervous system is having a go to non screen related activity. So, whether that's exercise or doing puzzles or reading, listening to music, try to find something that does not involve a laptop, a phone, a TV, a tablet, or any sort of digital device with a screen. And it's hard because our phones are such an integral part of our lives that we use and depend on. Social media is so addicting. It's made to be that way. It's kind of the same as caffeine, right? Where it doesn't actually wake you up, it just gives you the feeling that you're awake. And screens do the same thing. They make you feel like you're relaxing, but you're really not. You're further stimulating your mind and brain and straining your eyes even more. So, what I've noticed is that if I am working on something and then taking a break from working, my break will be to look at my phone. But it's not really a break. It's not really effectively taking my mind off of whatever is stressing me out or whatever I'm trying to take a break from. In fact, it's increasing that stress. And so I have time limits on my phone. All of my apps shut off from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. the next day. So that helps me have a very calm start and end to my day. But even throughout the day, look at how often you are checking your devices, or if you are working on something and you're taking a break. Think about an alternative way besides looking at notifications that you can take a break that doesn't involve a screen. And not only will you feel more productive when you get back to whatever it is you're working on, but also you'll feel more centered and regulated within your nervous system. The point is, resting is not just going to bed, sleeping for 8+ hours, that's physical rest. But the rest that I'm talking about is emotional, spiritual, mental rest. And in order to get that type of rest, you have to strip away the stimulants, strip away the distractions, strip away this constant rush, go, go, go mode, and just sit with yourself, sit with your thoughts, sit with the sounds of the environment you're in. And you don't have to think about anything, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to look at anything. And this can look different for everyone. It could be reading a book, it could be listening to music, it could be meditation, it could be stretching, it could be eating your lunch or dinner in silence, whatever it is. Have dedicated rest time and find activities that are non tech related, and your nervous system will thank you. This next one is so important, and that is what I like to call having a no urgency list. So, just like you may have your emergency contacts, you also need to have the list or radar or discernment to know who is not an emergency contact, what is not urgent. And you'll really find when you think about this that there's a lot of things that really are not an emergency, are not urgent at all. If you struggle with creating boundaries, setting boundaries, sticking to boundaries, or if you're a person that is the go to person for a lot of people, and you constantly find yourself being asked to do a lot, or people put a lot of things on you to do. On one hand, it's a great feeling to know that people want to come to you for help, but it shouldn't come at the expense of your mental health. And this is something that I had to learn, where every time I would get multiple emails or texts at the same time, I would feel overwhelmed. I would feel like I had to respond to everything, or everything felt urgent. And when I really looked at what it was that people were asking, corporate folks know that unless you are quite literally saving lives, nothing you're doing at that job is an emergency. But please understand, I'm not saying to miss deadlines or slack off on your job, but I am saying that you don't always owe people 24/7 access to you. And it doesn't have to be work related, it can also be in your personal life. That dedicated rest time that I mentioned, or those non tech related activities that I spoke about, if someone is contacting you, needing something from you, but if you are doing something else or you're resting, don't feel the need to drop that to go and help someone else. Just like you are pouring into these other commitments, you have to put that back into yourself, or else you'll start to resent people and the commitments that you've made. Yes, people can definitely be out of line and annoying and doing too much. But at the same time, it is kind of a two-way street here, where whatever you allow will continue. So just remember that you are in control of what you want to do, how you spend your time, who you spend it with, what you do day to day. Don't let your schedule, your nervous system be dictated by your environment or other people. And the best way to do this to help yourself feel calm and regulated is to say, okay, anything that falls under this category is not urgent. If I get a text or a request or a call pertaining to this, I will respond the following day. I'm only doing this commitment on this day, and then from there, I'm moving on to something else. And once you draw a line in the sand of what is urgent and what's not, what you're willing to do and what you won't, you will live a much more balanced life, a much more fulfilling life, and most importantly, a life that feels intentional. The last way to maintain a balanced nervous system is to spend time with the people that energize you. At the end of the day, people need people. And when you are around people that drain your energy, it really can affect your nervous system. And I know sometimes it's unavoidable, right? I mean, we may be surrounded by coworkers, bosses, or peers that we are forced to work with and deal with. But outside of that, I'm talking about the people that you have the ability to choose to be around. Really get clear on who it is that you enjoy talking to, spending time with, who lifts you up, who supports you. And if you feel yourself, with low energy or feeling down or feeling anxious or this heaviness that you can't shake, maybe you just need to charge your battery and charge your battery with the right outlet. Your parents, your siblings, your extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, your friends, your pets, your teachers, any social groups that you're a part of. Be around like minded people. Be around people that you can be fully yourself with, that appreciate, love, and support you for you. And that saying of misery loves company is so true. It doesn't have to be a lot of people either. Some people have small circles, some people have big circles, and some people don't have a circle at all, but they have themselves. And it could be that you need to be by yourself to recharge. So, this is really about getting clear on what it is and who it is that you like. It sounds very simple, but day to day, it is easy to get caught up in what other people are doing. And for me, what I've realized about myself is I can kind of easily get wrapped up in the relationships that I'm in and take on the interests of the people that I'm around. But when I take a step away, I realize, wait, I actually don't really enjoy doing this, but they enjoy doing it. But I really actually don't like it. Now, obviously, like if you like the people you're around, then you'll want to do what it is that they enjoy doing. But there has to be a balance there where both parties are being fulfilled. Find what feels good for you. And once you find it, stick to it. And it may not look like what everyone else is doing. But if it works, it works. And if you continue to do these tips and incorporate them into your lifestyle, it will definitely help you to balance your nervous system. So, no matter what life throws your way or whatever you're dealing with, you'll still be able to successfully maintain a regulated nervous system. What are some ways that you regulate your nervous system? Leave any tips you have down below. I would love to hear, and I'll catch you in my next post. Peace.